a crazy house, but we ain't crazy. Did you ever hear that story?
No. Was that on War Stories?
Yeah.
I need to hear it.
It's
Well,
of
you
my
could tell it
odd
to me
youth.
after. I think that this is happening. It is. It's happening. It's happening. First of all, your baby is beautiful.
My baby is, when people say your baby's beautiful and you instinctively just say thank you, but there are times, I will say this, that I actually go, I know, only because I actually can't believe it.
He's insane. He's like he could sell something like, baby food or a car.
We should do that with his Montgomery Clift blue eyes.
He does.
But he does have a bit of a body like a nose tackle right now.
He's going to be a rugby player. For sure. He's too big even for football. It's rugby.
He's an enormous beast.
Who's got the phone? We got to airplane the phone. Who's got a phone on?
I do not. Mine's off.
I hear. It could be me.
There's a picture of a plane on your phone?
Yeah, look at that. See? There we go. No, he's like the most attractive baby, and he has like the perfect, and he's got something in his mouth. He's got paper in his mouth.
He's got a valet ticket in his mouth. As you say that, he makes his most ridiculous Buddy Hackett face. Oh, thanks, Aisha. I'm glad you enjoy my babiness. You want to say hello?
Does he make words?
Yeah, he says, Dad. His first words were mama. His second words were dada. And I'm not kidding. His third word was fumble. I hit the football out of his hands over and over and over, and I just kept going, fumble! And I would dive on it because it made him laugh because Daddy's falling on the ground like a Jack Tripper idiot. And then I hit the ball and yelled fum, and then he went fumble.
Oh.
But not again.
No, but just the one time. And
it was a one-off. It was like Daffy Duck lighting himself on fire.
A little bit of a dad boner.
It's a
just
trick.
A little bit, right? Get your kid to say fumble.
I never really heard that expression before. Is that a nomenclature, a pod nomenclature that floats around?
I generally try to make up things as much as possible on my show.
Dad boner.
An unlimited hour of just yap.
Yeah, I guess like Jackie got his green belt, and I got a bit of a dad boner when they come out from behind that. There's like a screen they put up because you can't watch the test.
Oh, wow.
Now, you want to hear a story about a kid who's definitely a chip off the old block?
Yeah.
Jackie tested for his yellow belt like 4 years ago when he first started karate. He's 9 now, and then
so he's about 5, 6 years old.
Yeah, and he tested for his yellow belt, and you get really nervous. Like, well, what if he blows it? What if he's a spaz? And you don't realize that they're only going to let kids test that they know will pass. Otherwise, the dojo looks lousy.
Right, and also just screaming, crying, boogery kids running around, flipping out, karate chopping each other.
Yeah, they don't want that. They kind of stack the deck like he's definitely ready.
That's good.
So they put up this big silk screen that splits the dojo in half, and you hear ki-ai, hi, and you hear a little contact, and you hear some movement, and all of a sudden I just hear, Jackie, why don't you give me 10 push-ups right now? This is a 5-year-old. Jackie, why don't you give me 5 push-ups right now? And I'm like, that's kind of weird, Jackie, why don't you give me 10 push-ups right now? 10 push-ups right now. And the test is like an hour and 10, and for a 5-year-old, that's a day.
Yeah, that's it. He's got to tap out.
2 other times, Jackie, give me, and I'm like, I don't hear any other kid doing push-ups, and there's people testing for brown belts and blue belts.
Yeah.
And then finally he comes around, he's got his little yellow belt, and I had, you know what? I had a dad boner.
Dad boner.
And then I said, hey, I'm so proud of you. What was the hardest part? And he goes, not talking. Like, who's running this show? Why? And he's just like, how?
He's got a captive audience. How can I not try a couple bits out?
And his orange belt test, they make them stare at the wall until further notice. Like, you have to stand facing the wall with your nose against the wall until I say, Aisha, turn around.
Oh.
And I hear, Jackie, give me 10 push-ups. And I say to Sensei Davis, I said, who is he talking to? He goes, no one, man. Cat was just talking to the wall. He's hardcore.
Also, apparently you have Action Jackson running your kids.
Oh, yeah, he's got a big fro. He's no joke.
Oh,
he's an OG.
I have to visit it now.
Yeah, he's great. There's there's a monster, there's a mountain bald Jewish man, Sensei Herzog. They're both in my book, No Wonder My Parents Drank, where I give them a special shout out because it's hard to find other grown men that will be, actual disciplinarians to your child.
To your child, yeah.
After a while, you feel like, I'm the only one beating this drum. So to drop your kid off someplace where they go, unacceptable, push-ups now.
Yeah, right?
And they listen.
And probably, in some ways, more of a disciplinarian than you because they're going to be kind to your kid, but they don't have the sentimentality of it, right? Where,
yeah.
Would you make your kid drop and do push-ups?
No, I wouldn't. I just tell them, shush, you're ruining it. Be quiet.
Right?
I'm trying to watch the Barefoot Contessa. Don't tell Jeffrey about my
She's making a
omelet party.
delightful pesto.
Ever
I
hear
can't
her
look
go?
that broad in the face. I feel like I'm going to turn to stone. She creeps me out.
She should.
She's
and she's
creepy,
married to Jeffrey.
And Jeffrey is like ex-CIA or something.
Yeah, we thought he was like a giant joke, and my wife and I, and then we looked him up on Wikipedia. He was like a staff. He was on Nixon's staff.
Yeah.
He's no joke. Like, he knows where the bodies are buried in the Chesapeake Bay. And all she ever says on the show is, "Don't tell Jeffrey." And you're like, oh, you know what? Apparently we should listen to her, because
Right.
Jeffrey could have us whacked and buried under Arlington.
It's best to keep Jeffrey in the dark about a lot of things.
Yeah, don't get me started on my omelet party. Look at that, you make a chicken and a man shows up. Here comes Jeffrey. I want to really surprise him. He only comes home on weekends.
Yeah, like what
Come
kind of
on.
relationship do people have like you just met?
Not good.
I've made him a salad. Also, when they
when
sit
he comes
down,
home,
right?
he's going to go bananas.
They go crazy.
I made him a special tuna salad. He's going to go crazy.
He's gonna go nuts.
Really?
Are these people having sex though? Like there are certain couples where in your head you can't do the sex math at all. I can't do any
and
sex
I don't
math
want to
for them.
get blue, really, but...
Well, my show is blue. I'm gonna drag you there.
All right, but I'll go kicking and screaming. But I can only, and I'm being serious, I can only picture Ina and Jeffrey with like ball gags and hoods. And that, because she always looks at the camera so, like, she's so uncomfortable. And whenever she says, don't tell, she'll say like, don't have too much fun without me. But then she gives a little look back to the camera like, help. like she's the gimp.
So she's the submissive.
She's the gimp. And
I
like,
see it the other way around. I think he's the guy who likes the spankings, right? He was Cloak and Dagger his whole career,
that would
right?
make sense. That
He's
would
always
make
on top.
sense.
He wants to be a bottom now.
now it's like a total. We got to see how this plays out. We got to infiltrate the Hamptons.
We do.
I'll dress up like Alec Baldwin.
I would pay money for intelligence on that couple.
For a cloak of invisibility and show up at one of her gay parties where there's only 4 gay guys. 3 are butt ugly and TR's the super hot one. Like, one works in a flower shop. And
supplies her with unlimited flowers.
Yeah, but he wears like
arrangements.
sweaters from like the 80s and he
Yes.
and he's super uncomfortable. And then there's the one that doesn't look like he's doing too good. And then I guess there's 3. And then the third guy, TR, is like the hottest guy I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
And there's one lady friend.
They cast him though. They had to get one cute gay. They're like, we've got to hire a cute
I
gay.
think so.
Casting call. Just
And
get one
Dwyer,
cute gay.
her friend Dwyer, who looks like a SpongeBob extra, because like her ears are touching in the back. She's completely pulled back. Don't tell Dwyer, but I replaced her coffee with Folgers crystals.
I've made her favorite garlic bread.
Jeffrey made me
She's-
diaper him and give him powder and read him Goodnight Moon.
See, and I see that. I see all of that. I totally see that in that couple. Just
You know,
him
they're-
sucking his finger, and they bought some breast milk online.
Not even his
Breast
thumb.
milk cheese.
Not even his thumb.
his
His finger
it's
like a
his
real
index
baby.
finger.
Like 2 of them in his mouth.
Yes.
Like ring and middle. Just like making himself gag by accident.
that one.
Meredith will do that. He'll put his hand in his mouth and go, oh. I'm like, well, don't put it down so far, dude. Easy, brother.
He's figuring out his limits. Figuring out his limits. He is. What kind of a name is Meredith?
It's my wife's father's name. I guess it's Southern.
I thought it was Irish. That was my guess.
It is. You know what? It came from Ireland. It means Lord of the Sea.
That's an awesome name.
Shirley used to be a guy's name in the South. There used to be like newspaper men like Shirley, a real famous guy. I forget his last name, but Shirley. He wrote for like the
Hemphill?
Dallas. Yeah, Shirley Hemphill.
Yeah.
What you want, Raj? He would always lick his pencil before he took an order.
That's ridiculous.
That was his big
Apropos
thing.
of nothing. When people lick like that was something you learned from your parents, right? Like licking a finger before you turned a page, or
But you do actually need that. That's applicable to life.
I won't put my fingers in my mouth unless they have been fully sanitized.
Why are you like? Are you an actual like germaphobe?
I'm not like a Howie Mandel, but
But you won't put your own finger in your mouth to turn a
If I-
page after you've washed your face
Yeah,
and your
I
hands and you're
just
laying in bed
wonder. Well,
relaxing.
no, washed after it's washed, yeah. But like, I need to think back. Like, when was the most recent hand washing?
See, I'm more
episode?
like the Carlin school of thought. Like, my body needs germs to practice kicking ass on germs.
That's good.
So
My body doesn't need germs because I don't want to sty.
you don't want to stop.
Yeah, you don't want.
You
I don't
said
want to
that like
sty.
you said that like it was a verb, and I pictured some type of action where you would sit and just
actually
I could
sty.
visibly watch you change. Oh, she's
sighing.
Yeah, thank you. Look out, she's stying. Get back. Get back.
This could get damp.
Julie Chen, don't go near her. She's stying.
She's sighing.
Julie, you can't bring that home to Les.
The sty. She wants to keep me in her. If Julie brought someone home and put them like in the ugliest room in her house, it would still be like it would be like my whole home. Like
Yeah,
in her-
that's
in
a
her
wealthy
maid's
couple.
quarters.
That's like a Beckham Spice Girl style.
I kind of don't want to know. Like, I think there's certain people like you almost don't want to like peek behind the curtain of like, You know what I mean? Like,
You
who
don't
told
want to
me-
see the Julie Chen house with?
I mean, I will go if invited, but
I think it's a little disrespectful she hasn't invited you.
everybody works really
Cheryl
hard.
Underwood's been over there like 4 times.
She probably has. Cheryl Underwood probably is over there
Oh, I'm coming over.
baking cookies.
And I'm going to bring me a Sylvester Stallone. I'm going to bring me. God, I love her so much.
She's the greatest. She's the greatest.
I'm
so
going to get
funny.
her pregnant.
No, it's a beautiful name. Let's talk about stand up. I like to do. This show ends up always being kind of This Is Your Life. I've just decided because I've known you for a long time, but I don't know anything about you, Jay.
Really?
I don't think I do.
I'm pretty much an open book.
I read a little bit of your book. I read some excerpts from your book, which was great.
Book?
On
The
why my
Parenthood?
parents drank.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that one. That
You
was
like the SNL one more probably.
I gotta.
It's very dark. Very
I love dark.
Bukowski and
Tell me, how long have you been doing stand up?
I get. Well, let's see. I'm 16. I was 16.
You're
I'm
on-
how yaba daba
Hard
do
couple.
bet. I was 16. I'm 41. So
Wow, yeah.
you went to Yale. Where'd you go?
One at Dartmouth. One
Dartmouth.
of those. Whatever,
So
Princeton.
what's 41
Yeah.
minus
So
16?
25 years.
So 25 years.
Impressive. You
I
started
remember
when you were
once-
16.
Yeah, I remember once I was getting a massage, and the lady said, "This is a long time ago." She goes, "How long have you been doing comedy?" The massage therapist. I went. I did it in my head. I said 18 years, and she goes, "Oh, that's great." And then I actually sat up on the table and went, "I've been doing comedy 18 years."
Were you
Like, what
just,
happened?
Shocked.
Yeah, I was stunned.
It's alarming, right? Because I'm 19, like 19 plus right now, going into 20.
You still love it?
I love it more than I did in the middle.
Do you love going there? Do you love doing like
I only love the hour that I'm on stage. I don't
Really?
and I love the hour that I'm on stage, and I love the meet and greet. I love talking to fans, but I don't like the traveling and the shitty fucking hotels and the eating.
I would like to
chicken
meet and
wings.
greet if there was a way to, if there was a jettison button, like on the lunar module, where you could just actually jettison humans away from you. Like,
Right.
you're, like the worst, I think John Mayer said it, like being able to look at the photo on the phone has
Right.
ruined it for everyone.
Oh yeah,
'Cause it used to
no
be
phone
click.
sex, no seduction.
It used to
Yeah.
just be say click with your disposable camera, and then you just walked along. But now
Right.
you go click. I don't like that one.
No, it's
Can I do it
blurry.
again?
Come on, I didn't say.
I'm a chick. And I'm a guy. Let's do it again, Slam Man. I wasn't flexing.
Can you do one where you make this face? Can you do one where you look like you're mad
Touch
at
my
me?
breast.
Yeah.
No.
Touch my
Like, what are you
breast.
talking about?
Why would
That
I
happens
do that?
constantly. But did they say it to you?
No, you know what? I sign a lot of boobs. I do.
Really?
Yeah, I autograph a lot of breasts.
Touch my balls.
Yeah, that hasn't happened. I have signed to several guys' asses, and I always tell them, I'm not giving you, this isn't a proctology exam. Like, act like I'm not giving you a shot. Let's just get like upper quadrant, but it's just always like down and then over.
Doesn't
they're
part of
bent.
you want to really just pull him down and see what he's working with?
I
and sign?
never do. I never do. No,
You're like me.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
like
like
into.
mystery. I like asses to remain a mystery.
My wife once said to me, she caught me doing. He just put it. My wife once caught me doing something untoward to myself in a hotel room after we had already made love.
Afterwards.
And so she fell asleep, and I didn't want to bother her, you know.
You're
And
being
so we were
generous.
driving like a month later. She goes, "Remember that night what's this called?
At the hotel we're here,
Yeah.
the Redbury.
Remember that night at the Redberry? I caught you masturbating, and I was like, "No." And she
No,
goes, "No,
I
I
don't."
saw you. You were wearing your Jets sweatpants and that T-shirt with a seahorse on it, and you took your watch off so it wouldn't clank against your ID." I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I'm so busted. And I go, "Yeah," and she says, "Is that important?" This is like a month into us dating. She goes, "Is that important to you?" Not
Masturbating?
Yeah, not like cunty, just completely pragmatic.
Yeah, like,
is that something that's important to you?
Is this what we're dealing with? Yeah.
But having it said pragmatically made it so foul.
Really?
Like, is that important? Because then you have to go, yeah, it's
Yes.
really important to me to watch sweaty strangers. And I was like, oh my God, no. It's just,
Was that like, but that was a knee-jerk reaction, which is like, of course not. No, I don't need to masturbate.
no, I really had to think about it. And
Yeah.
then it didn't take long for the wheel in my head to go, no. Because, the knee jerk is like, say no, say no, say
Yeah.
no. But then you go, well, this is a person, like, how often in your life is somebody going to look you in the eye and go, I don't care. Just tell me if this is important to you, so I know what I'm working.
That's marriage material. First of all, if someone says to you, "I love you,"
yeah,
in an all-encompassing way, it's okay if you need to masturbate.
And the payoff was I said no, and she said, "Okay, good," because I'm kind of a sure thing. So next time, just wake me up. And I said, fair enough. Cheers, big ears.
She's a keeper. Cheers. She is a keeper.
She's a good egg.
Yeah.
So
if somebody asked me, I think I would say yes.
It's not important to you?
Yeah. Well,
really?
it's not like I couldn't give it up. It's not like I need to go to rehab.
I can quit anytime, Jay Mohr.
Anytime, Jay. But it is like I'm not going to give it up unless it's a big deal to you. I mean, it's not like I'm doing it when he's in the other room, but I'm on the road a lot. What do you do when you're on the road? You just
I don't think.
abstaining?
Do your listeners know that you watch porn when you're on the road?
I don't watch porn, but my listeners know I masturbate.
Oh, we were talking specifically about porn.
Oh, porn? No, porn. I find to be generally like an ice cream sundae, like really awesome for 2 bites, and then you just get a sick stomach.
Now, I'll turn the tables on you. This is your life. When you masturbate, do you have like a Rolodex of like?
I have a couple pictures. My husband's in it occasionally. But I'm very efficient. I'm like, get the job done. I have shit to do.
My wife's very goal-oriented, and she hits that goal very quickly.
Quick. Get it done.
And then she whispers to me, she'll whisper, you can finish. Like, in other words, you're starting to sweat. Get off me.
Right, exactly.
Let's wrap this.
I bore.
Leave that show fucking when we were dating. Let's just get down to brass tacks.
You don't have to impress me
I'm
anymore.
good. I'm in love with you. We have children. Get off. Figuratively and literally.
and
get off there.
Get off there, buddy.
Yeah, I've noticed that all my anything that I could possibly think of, like it's nice. You mentioned your husband, and it's nice when you can
Meredith
actually picture that person, and that is hotter than anything that you could order.
Yeah, I have to tell you also what's great is when you're married and you still have sex dreams about your spouse. That's always a nice surprise, right? When that happens.
Yeah, it is good. For those of you listening, we're talking about porn. The baby walked in and decided he wants hot tea, knives, forks, and phones.
Yes, sharp objects,
so this
electronics.
Is delightful. Say hi.
Don't stick your finger in that funny little hole in the wall, kid.
Yeah, speaking of...
Just do it all at one time.
Speaking of porn, maybe this isn't the best room for this guy. Yeah, we tried. He's really a hands-on guy. I think the Spanish word is tremendo.
Yeah?
And that translates to English to I own a monkey. There's no English translation to...
Very smart, inquisitive monkey.
Tremendo.
Tremendo. He is essentially, every time he walks in, like dazzlingly attractive. It's like opening the fucking briefcase in Pulp Fiction, right? Your eyes go all wide.
Is that what you think, Honey Bunny?
Yes, that is what I think. What did he call her, though? He called her Honey Bunny. What did she call him?
Brian Koppelman just tweeted this because we were talking about it, and I forget.
Like sugar snacks. We'll think of it in a minute. I can't remember anything. So you've been doing stand-up for 20...
He called her Eeyore. I just say like I know what I'm talking about and see who.
And I was totally sold.
No, you were not.
No, I wasn't.
I was going to say, there's no way.
Eeyore is not a compliment. I have a friend who I call Eeyore, actually. You started when you were 16 years old. Were you like a comedy nerd when you were a kid? Were you obsessed with comedy?
Yeah, I used to watch comedy. Star Search had the comedy and the acting.
Okay, so who was on when you were watching when you were a kid? Was it Sinbad?
Yeah, Sinbad was on.
Because he was the only guy I can even remember. Him and Mark Curry.
I don't remember Mark Curry. I remember I used to watch the dancing too because every once in a while there'd be break dancers.
Yeah.
And I was all fired up like, how could they lose? That's real dancing right there.
They're doing on his head. Come on.
They're doing robots. And they made light bulbs light up in their mouths. Sweet dreams mean nothing when you have a broken heart. I think that's Planet Patrol, but I'm not sure.
And then there was that one singer who wore the overalls. His name was Sam or something like that.
Oh my God!
Remember that guy?
Sawyer Brown was the band that won.
Yeah,
and they became Sam. Oh,
Sam something, right? He had that hair,
the tweets.
And he was the white guy who sounded black. People went nuts.
Yeah, right? Sam. He had like the big pompadour hairdo.
Yeah, he was ridiculous.
I forget, but yeah, I used to watch the stand up all the time, and I remember being obsessed with it. And then I remember Rascals. Do you remember Rascals Comedy Club was in West Orange? Mm-hmm. They had a public access show that was just called Rascals Comedy Club. So on like Channel 3 on public access in New Jersey, they would just show their show unedited, uncensored.
Hilarious.
So I would watch like Don Gavin, guys from Boston, and like Jackie the Joke Man would be up there, and I thought, I don't want to do that. I don't want to read jokes from a book.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But
I don't want to.
just don't bring the book on stage, but just recite those jokes. Like my dad could do that.
Right.
And I just saw a lot of people. Bob Nelson, I remember, was huge. He was on Star Search, and then he got super huge on one of the Young Comedian specials.
Right.
Anyway, I was always obsessed with comedy. I watched it nonstop, and then there was an ad during Rascals Comedy Hour. Hey, are you between the ages of 13 and 18? Do you think you can do stand-up comedy? Well, we're putting together this show just for teens, so come try out with 3 to 5 minutes of material. And I went, oh my God, that's why.
Yeah, right.
It's because of this. And then I put together, I still remember the jokes. Like my mother, I come from a showbiz family. My mother was an actress, Chaka from Land of the Lost.
I love that you remember your first joke.
I was captain. I'm very athletic because I used to go up in like my wrestling varsity jacket and like go, I got to get out of here. I have homework in the morning, and I was always like the grown-ups liked it, and the other teens were like, "That's hack."
Yeah.
What a hack!
The 15-year-olds are like,
"Oh
what a
man!"
clam.
They just scratch it off their little notes. I'm like, oh shit, there goes that.
That's my closer. My closer.
The whole thing. I was captain of the miniature golf team. I'm out for the season because I got hit by a windmill. I'm a chronic I was a bedwetter till I was like 12, which isn't that bad, but I used to do it from the top of the dresser. So that was my first 5 minutes.
You had like actual material.
But I thought that was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I apparently, alone in front of a mirror, I'm quite the ham. And I've always been
ride the wave.
Apparently I've always prepared to be a theater act. Just waiting for it all to cascade and roll back out like
back
the tide.
To the back of the room. You got to wait till the back of the room catches up.
Yeah. And when you're performing for 11 other 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds, they're like, whatever, dude.
Whatever.
So that shit went down in about 90 seconds flat. And I recently saw a video of that performance right before they closed Rascals, and I don't know what I just said to you is what was in my mind.
Yeah.
But what came out was like when people have a stroke.
Yes.
And just all bizarre words. Like there's always a news anchor that goes, shit, Staples, fit, rain, hail, garbage, red, green, Wally Schirra, moon, landing, walk, space. And you go, who's this asshole? And then you find out right after that they took him to the hospital with a stroke.
I smell toast.
That lady, I think she was outside. Yeah, there was a lady outside the Grammys that just went bleep, blop, blork, blap. Oh. And then everyone like just killed her on Twitter.
She's on drugs.
YouTube sensation. Yeah. It's like, no, actually her fucking brain is jello. Congratulations, creeps.
Thanks, internet.
So that's what it looked like when I watched it. I was wearing a red and white striped shirt, so I looked like I worked at a pizza place.
Adorable.
No. Pretty nerdy. It's pretty bad. With my hair shaved on the sides.
Oh, did some lines?
Well, no lines. That wasn't in vogue yet. But I was chicken to get the mohawk for wrestling.
Right.
So I got like just kind of took the razor once over the years, which is worse. Which just looked like I was on Cops.
Or you're a recruit. You're about to go into the military.
No, because it was a little long. That's the big way the big FU in wrestling is to have it just long where they don't make you cut it. Because before every wrestling match, they look at your nails and they look at your hair.
Now, look at your nails so you don't scratch your opponent. Look at your hair to make sure you're not...
I guess so the other guy doesn't pull it.
Really?
Yeah. There's girls that wrestle.
That wrestled were like bald. Yeah, they were. They all shaved their head.
Everyone's always got a hang-up like, I'm wrestling some girl. Man, I'll wrestle her in 2 seconds. You give me a one-legged guy. And I used to wrestle... Oh, my God. In wrestling camp in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, wrestling camp of champs, I had to wrestle a blind kid.
Wow.
And... unfair advantage because you had to start holding his hands so he knew where you were at all times.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're blind, your other senses are like peeked out.
Right.
You can probably smell me walking out to the middle of the mat. So the whole match, I got to hold this guy's, and every time we let go hands,
you have to go back
they blow the whistle, stop the match, stop the clock, and then you got to hold his hands.
Right.
And then like the third time in, you start kind of getting a hair on your ass like, this is bullshit.
Right.
And then right when you think that, shoom, this kid shoots in on you like a fucking Ralph's bag hitting the grill of a car on the freeway. Like you were just in the undertow. It was over. And then he just starts grinding you. Like when guys get in good, they can just grind. That sounded like gay porn.
It did.
When guys get in you good, they just grind you.
Grind you into the floor.
So when you started doing, we talked about you on my podcast
Yeah, we're
about
not
you
talking
being.
about me.
I know what was the name of that group you were in with Sam Waterston?
It's called Sam Rockwell was called Batwing Lubricant, but I wasn't in it. It was like the little improv.
No,
group.
there was
The
another
singing
one you
group.
were in.
Oh no, that was the Rockapellas.
No,
What
you gave me
group?
something to look up on the
I don't even remember.
YouTube.
It was Soda, the School of the Arts, Soda. Yeah.
School. SO. I never put
SOTA,
that together.
yeah, Soda.
And I saw
School
you
of
and
the
Sam
Arts.
Rockwell doing
Did
a
you
little
look
scene
at it?
together. Yeah, you
Oh,
look great.
brutal.
But you
Thank
look
you.
younger now than you did then. Shit must have been hard for you then. And then when you told me like you bounced from like private school to public school to private school to public school
Yeah,
because your
yeah.
parents, it was like good times. They were like doing the best they could.
That was exactly it.
And then you
Keeping
actually
their heads above water.
Yeah, temporarily, but James Junior, in your own home, you don't run and hide from nobody. And the audience goes, right on.
Ow.
Hey, bud.
Hey, buddy.
And then you actually look younger now than you did there.
That's so kind. I'll take
Maybe
it.
not younger, certainly lighter. There's
Better.
a weight on you there.
Well, I was heavier too. I mean, I was like a plumper kid.
I don't mean a scale weight. I mean the weight of the world on your back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Serious.
uncertainty.
I was serious
Where are we
back then.
going? And now you know where you're going.
Now
and
I have money.
We don't have cares in the world.
Not like I'm rich, but there's something about
Money can't buy you happiness is really one of the greatest misnomers in our lifetime. Money can buy you a month in Kauai.
Yes, it can. It
And
can
you
buy
don't-
you sex. It
Yeah.
can buy you a lot of things. Maybe that won't make you happy, but temporarily anyway.
It will, you could be, somebody had the great quote, I've been broke and rich, I've been rich. I've been broke and happy, I've been rich and happy. Rich
Right.
and happy is way better.
You know what it also is though, when you made a good point, when you kind of figure out who you are and you just are doing shit you're into. You know what I mean? Like when you're
Yeah.
happy with the shit you're into. Like
I didn't
that makes a
realize
difference.
who I was as a comic until probably about 4 years ago.
So that's so interesting because you just asked me, like, do I like it as much? And I said I like it more. Is that the same for you? Do you feel like you like it more now? Or you probably had a period at the beginning where it was like all you could think about.
Yeah, it was sex. Like, it was that. And then everything like sex, drugs, rock and roll, it all came from how hard I could dominate a mic. Like,
Right.
everything in my life, my self-worth,
Yeah.
the way people thought about me, the way people talked about me when I wasn't around,
Mm-hmm.
which is really what you really do care about, but you don't want to admit to anybody,
Yeah.
is when you're not around, like, do they go, he fucking destroys that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
But now I think I've just gotten out of my own way. And, I stopped doing comedy. I don't know if I ever told you this. I stopped doing comedy about 6 years ago because I started having panic attacks again on stage. I had them on SNL, and then I started having panic attacks on stage, like panic, like the room's on fire, and I'm the only
Wow.
one that knows it. Panic, the life-saving levels of adrenaline and endorphins. Big difference between panic, between
fight or
panic.
flight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I wanted to flight, but I'm only 6 minutes in,
Ah.
and if I flight, then I
Right.
don't get paid.
And you also don't get asked back.
Yes, and
Yeah.
super disorienting, like that scene in I can't remember the Roy Scheider movie where he played Fosse.
Oh shit! I only know one more Schreider movie, which is Jaws.
Jaws.
So-
Well, that scene in Jaws.
yeah, that one. I would
We'll
want
go
to
there.
run away too.
It's
in
like that
movie.
scene in Jaws
Yeah, it's working.
when he says we're going to need a bigger boat, and they exchange
animatronic.
scars. Yeah. No, everything was super disorienting. Like sound dropped out, and I had like
Wow.
vertigo, and it was crazy. And I kept asking the sound, "Can we bring the lights up a little? Can we just bring the lights up?" And you just hold
Right.
your shit together. But what you don't realize when you're having a panic attack is you look completely normal.
Yeah, you feel as if you're melting, right? Like you're about to faint
You
to the
are
floor.
melting.
Yeah, but
that's the
everyone's
difference
like,
between anxiety and panic. Anxiety is stimulus response. Your boss yells at you every day, so when you drive to work, you start getting that knot in your stomach and you
Mm-hmm.
get anxiety. Panic is less. You're just having a conversation with somebody in the middle of it. You're like, you just seize. You're dying. It's the life-saving level release of adrenaline and endorphins for no reason. It's a
Right.
neurological glitch.
Right.
I had a great doctor that's Noelle Taylor in New York. Sarah Silverman. I told her I was dying when we were on Saturday Night Live together, and she goes, "No, you're having a panic attack. Go see my doctor." And I called the lady on a Saturday night. She saw me Sunday, and oddly, her office was in a mental hospital. So walking in, I'm like, "Oh my god, I am not.
Is this
in good,
where I'm headed?
Yeah, I'm not in good company here."
How do you writing my name on the wall with poop in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I wrote Die Pigs, Acid is Groovy. And I remember being super bummed out. She just had a desk and a chair, and I was like, "Where's the couch?"
Right. Yeah. This is
Like every New Yorker cartoon I've ever seen, someo's laying on a goddamn couch. Like, what is
And usually
this?
it's a nice one, right?
Not, yeah,
A
and they
divan.
just put their feet up. she just said nope. Anyway, I got Klonopin, 1 milligram, which I'm still on, 1 milligram in the morning, 1 milligram at night. And then my body about 6 years ago said, Klonopin these nuts. Fuck you and your Klonopin.
Wow.
And I figured out what it was when I met my wife. This is through, I went to like a cognitive behavioral therapist.
Yeah.
Which is like, by the way, total bullshit and horseshit.
Is
like,
it separate from other kinds of talk therapy though? Or is that like the basic
we're going to get to the first memory that makes you feel this way. Like where they go, maybe because you were premature and you were in an incubator, that the lights on stage make you think about that time. You know, I got news for you. I probably didn't panic when I was an infant because I just fucking laid there and they put tubes of shit in my mouth and fed me. I was probably pretty chill.
Right.
And they play like these noises like dong, like say something, the worst thing, and you just wind up dropping C-bombs and you realize, I don't know if that's what she wanted me to say, but she
that's
really,
the worst thing I could think of.
She goaded me into it. I'm not even kidding. So then my wife was the one that actually straightened it out. She goes, I know what it is. And I said, what? She said, you're different than you were because you're happy.
Right.
But when you go on stage, like a snake that shed his skin.
Yeah.
But when you go on stage, you got to get that skin and bring it up with you because you don't have a show as the new snake.
Oh, you're still doing everything. You're still jumping into...
Yeah, I'm fucking the stool, and I'm talking about eating ass and, fingering, and, how to really do a blowjob.
Jay
And
Mohr classics.
Spit on tits and slap them. Just like stuff now that I'm like, why would you say
the old
that?
hits, Jay. All the old hits coming back.
But awful hits. Like nothing good. Not like Sticks,
Play that
sailing.
funky music, white boy.
Yeah, like that. I would put my name on that. And I'm like, wow, my whole act was to get laid get laid or drugs after my act.
Laid or drugs, slay the guys. Like come in and just cock of the walk when you walk off stage.
The whole show was, what are we doing after this?
Right.
And I was married, but I was miserable.
Yeah.
We were never, ever... That's what I always tell people when they're getting married. I'm like, are you happy? And they go, yeah. I go, good. Go ahead. Because if you go into a marriage with a sore elbow, you're going to get divorced with a sore elbow. Like nothing. Because sometimes people get married because I think it'll change
It's going to make it better. No.
I did every mistake of that along the way.
People don't know. And I think that I have a similar conversation with people. I think anything that's bothering you now won't just be the same. It will be exacerbated by the state of marriage. It will fester. Like that wound will get bigger. It's not going to heal.
Yeah, because you're never alone with your buddies.
No.
And if you are alone with your buddies, then you go home and you have to face the thing that is the bane of your existence.
Yeah.
That you will eventually give $1.6 million to in a buyout so you don't pay alimony and commit murder.
It hurts.
This is all hypothetical.
Yeah, it's just kind of conjecture.
So
So this panic attack happened because you...
Several. It was in Brea. I was in Brea at the Improv, and every show I went up and I freaked out. Then I did the Canyon Club and I freaked out. And then the guy... I remember the Canyon Club fucked me on my money. I was supposed to get a certain amount, and then when they gave me my check, it was I was like supposed to get, and then it was less than.
Right.
And I just was going... Like, this is absurd. But I couldn't breathe, and I could feel my pulse in my face.
Right.
I felt like somebody...
So I was like... forehead vein was just going.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, man. Thank you so much. And I just got in my car and did like a donut in the parking lot and just drove as fast as I could, hoping I would hit something and go through the windshield and die.
Oh, Jay.
So my wife said, why don't you just stop for a while? And that's the most bizarre thing for anyone to say to a comic because it's all we know how to do. You want to warm me up, hun?
I'm good. I got this one. We're drinking tea. But even when you want to stop, you can't stop. Like I feel like you can't stop. Yeah.
It's all we know how to do, and it'll come out later in your home as non sequiturs, annoying. Like I'll just walk around the house quoting Platoon.
Yeah, talking to the television.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
So she said, "Why don't you just stop for a while? Excuse me. Take some time off, and then when you go back on stage, you will just talk to them
like a person,
as you.
Yeah,
and there won't be a quote act.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. Ironically, when I was rolling with Buddy Hackett, when my posse had old Jewish men in it. Oh, to be in Nagasaki where the women chew tobacco and the men say, woo, wacky woo. He told me no comic knows what he's doing until he's been doing it 20 years.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard because I'm on stage crushing ass.
I destroy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got it. I go up drunk. I go up high.
Right.
I go up sober.
Cross-eyed, whatever.
Wake me up.
Haven't
and
showered
just
in a
point me.
week.
Yeah. And he was right because what I was doing was just nonsense.
Yeah.
It was like being a garage band that becomes a real band.
Right. And that rule, and when I think on it now, because I talk a lot about it on the show, how you can't really be, you can kill, I mean, but you need to be fully yourself on stage. Like whatever you that is, you need to be fully you up there.
Present.
And fully present, and also just fully comfortable to like, maybe just being present. Maybe it's like, like a Buddhist thing. And
I was just going to say, we obsess over this on More Stories. It is an absolute exercise in Buddhism and having a single mind.
Right?
Where the archer becomes the target.
Yeah.
Because you know this, that sometimes you'll tag something and what you said was never in your head.
Yeah.
It just came out. You never thought it.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd goes bananas and you laugh because it's the first time you heard it because it was never even in your mind.
Yeah.
That's the most bananas example and a perfect encapsulation of what Buddhist monks are meditating for 40 years to achieve.
Right.
And that's what I think really good comics achieve regularly if we're present.
If we're being present.
George Carlin had the best quote about when he started doing his essays.
Yeah.
And being the Carlin that we know. He said, my old act was easy to do because there was none of me in it.
Right. It was just reciting.
Hippy weather, man.
Right, exactly.
Forecast for tonight, dark. And then when he started actually being himself on stage, it's like it's work. So
and it's wonderful and scary too. I mean, you really have to kind of
there's time. Like I just did Universal Amphitheater, part of a benefit show, and I had to follow somebody that got a standing ovation.
Oh, fuck that guy.
And I remember going, how the fuck do you follow this?
Yeah.
And I just went up and I just slowed it way down.
Yeah.
But the crowd was great. I mean, in all fairness.
Because, the thing we always do is rise to like the previous taunt, which is like, that guy was huge, I've got to be huger.
Yeah.
I
got smaller.
Yeah. Instead of saying, I'm going to go up and do what I do, because no one else does it.
Yeah.
It's mine. I'm not going to try to match this other person I'm going to just be...
I went up and I got quieter and smaller, and I remember it was about 30 seconds in, I sat on the stool and became like Bill Cosby himself, storyteller. So I can't follow an actual dwarf doing a lap dance.
No, an actual... Is that what happened?
It was Brad Williams, yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
He destroyed.
Yeah.
A career-changing set.
Wow.
He absolutely... Me... Eddie F., Jim Jeffries, and Eddie Izzard, and Peter O'Fallon, the director of Suicide Kings, were up in the rafters going, all right, who will bet that he does not get a standing ovation?
Right.
And we had it down to, none of us would take the bet, but
right.
It was like, every single person or just like a section?
Right, like a section, the orchestra?
Wouldn't do it. And that guy could have walked off 4 different times and gotten the same standing ovation.
Wow.
And I got angst.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, he would kill so hard imitating him. Like, why do fat people get the handicap parking? Like, your ass needs the exercise. Like, look at my legs. And he goes from one. It's a huge. It's like where Pearl Jam plays.
It's huge.
So he just does like a little muscle pissed off walk across the stage.
Right.
And it's, you're watching a little person doing a pissed off.
Right.
All right. You know what? Fuck it. You're watching a little person walk. And it's in a situation.
You used to do a bit about little people walk.
I still do it. The midget walk.
Yeah, the midget walk.
But not only you're watching a dwarf walk, but the dwarf's going, watch this walk.
Yeah, right.
So everyone's like off the hook.
Yeah.
And you can just go, Are they laughing with you or at you? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And I said, I think I leaned over to Eddie F. and I went, drop the mic and walk off, little man. You got it. And he just kept going.
And
another thing. And I go,
again.
drop the mic, like the Apollo. Just drop it.
Right.
Drop it. Kept going. So that night I had to go on. And you know what? I saved my set by saying, about a minute in, I could feel there was like a tension, a buffer.
Yeah.
And I said, look, let's all realize what's happening here tonight. We're after Brad Williams. We're all playing for second place. Let's not bullshit.
Yeah,
just so
exactly.
you know.
And there's no pressure. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I
said, just so you know, I know. Because I don't want them going like, he's been in a lot of movies. I didn't even know who that other guy is. And he was the best. And this guy's pretty good, but not like the other. Like, look. And I said, we're all playing behind Little Lefty on the leaderboard. So, yeah, I think now I've hit a stride where I don't love it as much as you love it, But you know what's gotten much easier is the travel. Like it just is what it is.
What it is. Yeah.
I've just surrendered.
Yeah.
And the radio used to be the bane of my existence.
Really?
And I realized it's because I was up smoking pot, masturbating all night. And now when I go to bed at a reasonable hour,
important to you anymore,
5 hours of sleep, meet you in the lobby at 6, you go, all right, great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
don't
But
care.
when you're up when you get the call, or you like just lying down when you get the call in the olden days, where you lie down at 5:15, you had to be in the car at 5:45.
God, they're getting me in an hour.
Your face fucking hurts. Your face hurts. Everything hurts. I don't do that to myself
I don't know
anymore.
how you're masturbating where you hurt your face, but
No, just I concentrate really hard. No,
Super pensive.
Screwed up my
Sudoku,
forehead.
masturbating to Sudoku puzzles. God, where do I put the 3?
That feeling when you know as you lie down, I'm gonna get an hour of sleep. You know what I mean?
It's dreadful.
It hurts.
But now, I think now in my 40s, as long as I know there's a nap in my future, you can pretty much run me into the ground.
Yeah.
Like when I do a TV show or a movie, I always, wow, ADs must hate me because I show up and I go, when do you think I'll be out of here? Like as I'm getting
walking in.
Yeah, as I'm getting out of my car, I'll say to like the DGA trainee in the parking lot who let you sign in.
Who probably urinating on himself with fear.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking know. But I'm like, when do you think I'll be out of here? And they'll say like 11. I'm like, 11? I'm not in the last 2 scenes. What do you mean 11? And then they got to radio it up the ladder.
Jay's peaked.
But if you tell me,
furious.
If Aisha goes, look, we're going to do this thing together, and I need you for 24 hours, and we're just going to burn bright, and then we're just going to die, I'll go, all right.
Done.
But on that 25th hour, I'm a fucking dick. Because I'm like, you fucking told me. So always give me a very liberal estimate.
Like a wide berth.
Yeah.
I was on
and you can run me into the ground.
I was on a show, a movie recently, and the director, we went really late, and the director was, he's an actor too, and he was apologizing. And I said to him, I'm the opposite. If I know I'm going to, I just did a scripted show. I'm just down for fucking being there late. If I'm there, like, fuck it, I'll make sandwiches. I don't give a shit. I don't have kids. I just realized I don't have kids. And he was like, I'm sorry this taking you so long. And I said, Jay, we're here to make your dreams come true.
Was his name Jay, or you just wanted to
his name was Jay. Yeah, it was Jay Chandrasekhar.
You did?
I did Baby Makers. Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck! I auditioned for that and didn't get it.
Well, you weren't. I didn't take your part.
You did.
I did
No, you know
not.
what's fun? I'll tell you a funny story. When I met Jay at the Chateau Marmont, he was meeting actors for that role. But I was going through fertility treatments with my wife. I was going through the exact things that were happening.
That we're talking about in the movie. Yeah,
and I'm like, I got this. He's a fan. I got the meeting.
Yeah.
He didn't stagger his meetings far enough apart.
Oh, no.
So in the middle of my meeting, Justin Long sits down,
What?
who's more famous, more handsome, and balls deep in Drew Barrymore more than me. And I'm like, and he's holding a motorcycle helmet. He's like, and he's
Which
like,
didn't even ride a motorcycle. He just carried it in.
yeah, right, a Vespa. He's that little gang, a little Vespa gang. But he's like just so cool. And I'm looking at him like you always look at the other guy like he's better. I do anyway. And I'm like, wow, this guy looks so great. And Justin Long always has that, like, I'm not really sure what's going on look on his face. And I'm like, oh, look at that fucking little.
He's adorable.
Look at that little look on his face.
Right.
He doesn't even know what hotel he's in. Like, I'm super focused. And
I
Repronex shots. I got to prepare Repronex shots. I stick it into her stomach sometimes or her butt. We do 3 a day. It's crazy that you wrote this and we're meeting because this is me. And then in comes the guy that has sex with Drew Barrymore. And then it was awkward because Jay didn't say like, you're done, you can leave, I got to talk to Justin. He just, his social skill was one of like, oh, well, you're both here, like, so we'll just talk about the movie at the same time.
And act like as if you're not
totally
up
normal.
for the same role. Just act
I guess in his mind was, oh, good, I won't have to repeat shit. And Paul Soder was just on my podcast, and he's in the podcast. He's down.
Oh, yeah.
He's totally, you can get him. He'd be a great guest from Broken Lizard.
Yeah.
Super Troopers and stuff. But he said that's really Jay. Like, Jay's a total, like, I don't know. I don't know. Was he fun to work with?
He was a blast to work with. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. You know, I don't.
A lot of girls cast in that movie.
A lot of pretty girls.
Excuse me, women.
A lot of pretty ladies.
A lot of broads, baby.
A lot of broads, a lot of boobs. It was like I was mostly nights. I mean, I had a great time on it. I didn't have a lot to do, so I ad-libbed. I was just like, I'm making fucking work. I'm gonna make work for myself. I'm gonna put shit in this. And I don't think he knew my work that much. And then cast me, and then I got like, I'm gonna just make my 8 lines in this movie as funny as I can possibly make them.
Anytime I'm playing with the baby, I am actually completely hearing what you're saying.
I
I'm
totally understand.
deceptively attentive.
I believe it. Parents are like that. I say stuff to my husband where I walk away from him, and as I walk away, I'm like, I'm listening to you. Like my back is to you. I'm not in the same room. I'm listening very closely.
He's a lawyer too, so in all fairness, a lot of what he says is exposition, just laying tracks for the real shit
Lots
that's
of
coming
pipe
later.
for the conclusion, for the conclusionary statement.
Yeah. Is it hard being married to a lawyer?
No, because
Argument-wise?
he's super laid back. He's not like an argumentative person.
But people, maybe not argumentative, but I've found lawyers, it's just, they're just
two
right.
personalities. They're the guys that have to be right all the time, and he's more of
They don't have to be right. They are right no matter what. Like, you don't understand, you're wrong.
Right.
And even if they're wrong,
they
they're
still
right.
have evidence to prove that they're right. Yeah.
And you just get stuck in this rabbit hole of...
He's more like the biscuit from Ally McBeal. He's like, I'm going to think about it. We can talk about it. There are aspects to the law. They're nuanced. They're subtle. You make a good case. He's always that guy.
I appreciate that I'm in your Rolodex on the road.
Right? Yeah. He's like, anytime you want to discuss
He's a good guy.
He's a great
I always
guy.
dug him. We always got along.
Yeah.
It's a tough hustle.
It is.
To be the spouse of a famous person.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, Aisha, what's up, Aisha? And this is my husband. You go, oh, hey man, what's up? So Aisha, and
it's true.
It's
he gave me so much. We just went out the other night and he gave me such a pile of shit. I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, it was.
I like the visual of him actually handing you a pile
big
of shit
pile, like a
on
steaming,
a saucer.
Yeah, in it, like bare hand, just bare hand into my bare hand. Here's
like
your
he's
pail.
gone completely
Honey,
mad.
I got you this pile of shit, and you're like, thank you.
Then he goes, take it.
Come on, this is for you. Push it into my chest. It's like
sure.
No, because we went out to dinner, and we got the kind of the starfucky little treatment. I'm sorry, people out there, for sounding so douchebaggy, but. And we got free
A lot of
this
EYs
and
in
Miss
that
Tyler
sentence.
that, and then we get home
Douchebaggy,
douchebaggy,
fucky,
creepy, and then we get home and he's like, oh, Miss Tyler, blah 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 blah, and he has a good sense of humor.
Was he Tyler Perry? Oh lordy, Miss Tyler.
Hallelujah.
In all fairness, the listener should know you were eating at your parents' restaurant.
Yeah, I was. Yes, I was eating at Mr. and Mrs. Tyler's restaurant. No, but he gets disgusted by it mostly. I stopped taking him to things too. I don't know. Your wife's an actress too, so she probably isn't as annoyed by it.
She super tapped out entirely. Like,
yeah,
she's just at home with the
she's
baby,
just doing family,
and
it's exhausting. And I think it's just harder on women than it is on dudes.
Also with her, she did 20. I mean, I don't know. I didn't realize this, and one day I did the math in my head. She did 20 years of shit she didn't care about.
Right.
Like when you're on a Happily Ever After and Nikki, and then she had a guest spot. The Norm show she really loved doing. She played a prostitute because Norm wanted to be able to weekly go, dirty whore. Hey, where's that dirty whore? Oh my God, a recidivist whore.
Around a writing ploy.
Actually, they wrote her in, so Norm was obsessed. He had like echolalia. He had to say, dirty whore. What the H? She's back again. Oh my God. And then like Las Vegas, which is kind of like the Love Boat, and it's a 1 hour, but you're there.
And it was on autopilot, right? That thing went years.
Yeah,
Didn't it go a long time? I feel like I kept
6 years.
saying this shit, not in a negative way, but like this show is still on. Holy
6
shit.
years.
Yeah.
So her whole thing now is like, I'll come out of the treehouse if you hand me something where when I look back, I'll be proud of the words that I said.
Right.
So like if you hand her a script for like Gary Unmarried, and go, hey, we'll give you this much, she's like, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
not a fan of Gary Unmarried.
Just anything that she's not like I just want to work.
Yeah.
Like I'm got a voiceover audition to be one of those fucking toilet paper bears, and if I don't get it, I'm gonna be pissed off because I take a lot of shits.
You've done some method work on
I've done a lot, and I don't understand. Well, I don't want to say anything that'll jeopardize. Let him eat a lemon. That'll fix him up.
That'll calm him down.
That'll tighten his ass up. Eat a little lemon, you hardcore little homie.
I have like 18 things to ask you about, and I want to run out of time because I want to go back to something that you used to do a bit in your act about having an anxiety attack. I remember it vividly. Yeah, you used to do a bit about smoking pot and then having an anxiety attack.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you do that bit, I would laugh so hard that tears would stream down my face.
I have forgotten. I'm realizing more and more material. I have forgotten more material than I think a lot of people have
People
written.
come up to me like, why don't you do the squirrel bit anymore? I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Squirrel bit.
What squirrel bit?
It better not be the same as my squirrel bit. But I do it as a Scottish guy, so it's a squirrel. Okay. It's a squirrel. I don't have a squirrel.
Mine's total. I feel confident mine's different than yours, but I bet I gotta go back and look at some. I'm gonna go on YouTube, find your squirrel bit. But what's so interesting to me is that must have been what you were having it. You know,
Do you have
that was
a pen?
so
'Cause I
vivid.
need to write that down
That
because
you
I
just
never
do your pot
remembered that
anxiety.
bit.
It was a great bit.
It was,
About smoking dope and having to go to the hospital.
I'm the worst guy to get high with. I'm the guy that ruins everybody else's high.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always that one friend.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. Like, you're in the back of your friend's car smoking a joint before a Kiss concert, and then I'm just sitting there going, hey, do you guys ever feel like you're having a heart attack? But everybody else is high, so they go, oh, fuck, yeah. Like, if I put my fingers on my neck, I can feel my pulse. Yeah, we should all go to the hospital.
Right, they're all laughing about it, and you're like,
Oh my God. And then you get to the hospital and you start laughing. You're a nurse, dude. That guy's a nurse. Ah! Dude, clear. Put those down. I'm so high. What do you think Kiss is doing? I never would have remembered that ever again in my life.
I'm here to be an
How'd you
encyclopedia
not
for
say
you
that?
and your act.
But I forget my bullet point for it. Getting high?
It was getting high and having
Worst guy
worst guy to get high with.
to get. All right, so go on.
I'm happy to do it, but
sorry.
we're just going to reminisce about your act. But I just remember thinking that was so funny, but now obviously in retrospect, this was an experience that you were having on a regular basis. You wrote about having your anxiety attacks on SNL, and I want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about SNL because
Nothing like live TV to make a panic attack worse.
how did you get that job?
I just did stand-up in clubs when they had, well, you know, and this is in the book too, gasping for airtime. It's, it really behooves you to have a manager that owns a comedy club.
Yeah, right.
Because anytime there's auditions for stuff, he gives you
Your
the
ass
prime
up there,
spot.
right? And you get the best spot. You're like, right.
I'm putting you on third, man. If you go on third, that's the best spot. I went up third on a July night. It was about 100 degrees. The air conditioning broke, and Marcy Klein, Ryan Shiraki, and all the producers, Jim Downey, everybody left immediately. When I said goodnight, they were like, I'm not fucking sitting. Because it was in an attic. The
Oh
Boston
yeah,
Comedy
yeah.
Club.
Boston's like it's tiny.
And yeah, it was like a ski lodge with no air conditioning. And when I said goodnight, they all left right behind me.
Wow.
So there were 9 guys that went on after me,
Nothing.
bearing their souls
Right.
for a future in
They were
showbiz.
sweating over those 5 minutes.
Then there was no one there.
Woof.
Just selling their hearts out
Right. This is
to a
my
realtor
night.
from, you know,
Orange.
Patchogue, Long Island. God, the gears in my gears in my head ground up
That is
trying to get Patchogue out. I almost said Quahog. I'm like, no, that's from the Family Guy, you idiot.
And so you destroy, and they leave, and do you get a call the next day?
I got a call the next day saying they want to see you again at Stand Up New York, which is not my hometown club.
Right, not
That
your
is a
club.
very sterile environment. It's kind of like an
Right.
operating room without the charm. And so I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to get Saturday Night Live. I went to the gym on Broadway in Houston, and then I took the train up Broadway and 77th is where the club was. And I remember I sat at the bar with my roommate at the time, and I had like 4 beers, had a little buzz, and I was wearing sweatpants.
You were already divorced? Were you already divorced at this time?
No, I was
Just before you
still
got married?
single and swinging.
Oh, okay.
Swinging for the fences, I
Swinging,
meant. Not swinging.
swinging low, swinging.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And then,
And now you're a bottom again.
yeah, I'm in my home life, I'm totally a bottom. Blissfully.
Happily a bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My wife, when we met, said, if I had a dick, would you let me fuck you? And I said, it's you, though. Like, you're not a tranny that I met. It's you.
It's you, actually you.
And you just wake up with a penis tomorrow, and then you want to put it in me. And she goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, definitely. And she goes, you're the first guy in 10 years that's gotten past hand job. And you, like, I was just like, yeah. Like, if not then,
Right, when?
If you're not going to see
Under what
those
circumstances?
boobs bouncing as you're getting railed in your ass, then when will you ever try it?
Right.
With that
That's the best
a lady.
opportunity. The lady that you love, right?
It's like,
You're into her, yeah.
fucking a centaur.
Unicorn. Oh my god.
So, yeah, so then I went up
A
to Stand Up New York.
manticore. I just had sex with a manticore.
Manticore. Well played. Well played,
Every
young
once in a
Tyler.
while, my friend.
No, you hit for average and power. I saw that firsthand.
Thank you.
I don't know why the waiter's crying. What's his deal? 20% tipper. Get off my back, dude. I don't care how long you've been here. So then I went up on stage and I did a whole bunch of impressions. None of it really made sense. I did like Andrew McCarthy was my first impression,
Oh,
which is a
nice.
visual, won't work on the podcast. I used to do this long Arsenio Hall bit, which
Yeah.
I loved because it was the first bit I did where I discovered I could get the room really quiet
Yeah.
and then have them crash back in.
Right.
And I made myself cry because the guy he was interviewing was crying. It was Lyle Alzado. He used to play for the Raiders, and he was dying of steroid abuse.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
You know, and then Arsenio would go just at the end of this long, crying, rambling message. He goes, "Yeah, where you from? What's that about? I heard you play football or something, and something happened with somebody."
Then he puts his hand.
Yeah.
He sits forward.
My man was a Raider. You played for the Oakland Raiders. And then I did Pesci and Robert De Niro as Batman and Robin from Raging Bull.
Why don't you stop eating, you fat fuck? You fucking belly, you broke the bat pole, your belly's hanging over the bat belt. You're like a fucking nut.
Did you fuck Catwoman? What? I'm going to ask you one more time, Robin.
I'm not going to answer that. What kind of fucking superhero asked me a question?
So I did all these impressions, and everybody was in the back left-hand corner of the room. So after I did the work, I would just stare.
I would just stare into the dark corner.
I would stare at them to let, almost like a fight. Like I ain't going anywhere, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucking, I don't,
Now.
You guys don't intimidate me at all.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I got a gig tomorrow night in Catawba, North Carolina.
Right.
And I'm going to get a check.
They're
Either
gonna give you
way.
free wings.
There's no way out of here alive, so I'm just going to have fun on the ride through.
Right.
They were sitting in the back right-hand corner of the
That's
club.
excellent.
So I was staring at just a table
Of terrified,
of Romanian
confused.
immigrants going, wow, this comedy is really something. I don't know,
The hotel give us
a German
free
Romanian, I don't know what
tickets.
that
Why?
was.
He's so
I
angry.
leave stand-up New York to go home, because at this point I am drunk.
Yeah.
And Marcy
You drink on
Klein
stage?
runs, I did at the time, sure, why not?
Why not? It's free.
La-di-da. Showbiz. Everything about it is appealing. You can drink at work.
At work,
Yeah.
as you are doing your work
Yeah.
in full display, and also your employer will be like, "Don't you want a beer?"
Yeah, I would finish that sentence, but I have to drink this vodka tonic real quick, and then I'll get back to you. And then Marcy Klein came out and said, "Don't go. You can't go," which is really foreshadowing of the entire SNL
Right.
experience.
Right.
Don't go. I'm on a sidewalk on 77. She's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like,
like,
"I'm
"I
going home. I'm
got
done."
shit to do.
Don't go. Lauren loved you. Lauren loved you. You have to stay. You have to hang out. And I'm like, well, there's 11 guys going on after me.
Right.
How?
We could talk tomorrow.
2 hours later, Lauren comes out into the sidewalk, and as he's walking to his limo, he gives me a point, how a pit,
come on.
I don't know if you're like how a manager points when he wants a different pitcher. He points out to the bullpen with I want the righty or I want the lefty.
Right. Not even looking at the bullpen, just pointing into the air.
Just so fucking fed up. This guy fucking sucks. Bring me this guy. And he points to me like that and goes, "Really great job." Never looks at me. Goes, "Really great job. Really great job." And he just gets in a limo and drives away. But I hung out for that.
Right.
But in that
That was gonna
world,
give you
that's the shit that you have to do. The
Right.
weird nickel and dime shit. They bleed you dry with
Right.
little tiny morsels of more than you can take. And then that night, the next morning I flew to Catawba, North Carolina. I was with Anthony Clark. We were cleaning out the pool to swim and had bugs in it. And I didn't know Anthony was OCD. He had to get every fly out of the pool. I said, "You know what? You clean the pool. I'm going to go take a nap." The phone rang. It was my manager, my agent. They said, "I got Saturday Night Live." I went back down to Anthony Clark. I said, "I just got Saturday Night Live." And he said, "Well, there goes that nap."
I like Anthony Clark.
I love him.
Just
Completely
dry,
unfazed.
right?
Not congratulations, just still skimming
Right,
with his
still
skinny Ichabod Crane body. Well, there goes that nap.
And also he over articulates his consonants.
I don't fucking believe it.
Nap.
And then that night they said, "Please welcome the newest cast member of Saturday Night Live." And
They flew you back. Did you do your show?
No, that night at Catawba, North Carolina,
at Catawba. Yeah.
College, they
Yeah.
said, I got to say, when they go, "What do you want for your intro?" I go, "How about this? I got Saturday Night Live today." But it wasn't it's super serious. It's almost like being governor.
Yeah.
That's something you have the rest of your life. When I go on the Tonight Show, they go, "My next guest is a former cast member of Saturday Night Live and whatever new thing I'm promoting."
Right, yeah.
I was never a cast member. I was a featured performer.
You did one season?
Two unremarkable seasons. But I discovered Christopher Walken impression there. I discovered Keitel there. Mm-hmm. There's a few. There were impressions that I discovered at 30 Rock. There's no goddamn jobs in this town, are there, Aisha? At your hotel? Girl on guy. That's what I've heard. I see you on the pop charts. Doing good. Who the fuck is a nerdist? He's kicking our ass.
He really is.
Say the goddamn words.
When you were there, were you pitching characters?
I was told by Mike Shoemaker, who now produces Jimmy Fallon, just go to other writers' rooms when they're just sitting around writing, and just go in and do your impressions. And that to me was the most humiliating.
Begging.
But he was right.
Yeah,
I should have done
right,
it.
yeah.
But if I did it, I'd still be there, and I'd have a different path. And
Yeah.
I can't really, the universe unfolds as it should.
Right.
And here
Parnell
I am.
said, I remember asking Parnell, he said he had such a hard time navigating that world, and
And he was like the guy.
yeah, and I asked him about it because he said he said it felt like it took a long time to figure out the culture there, and I went and I was like, well, I would think it would, right? And he goes, yeah, but I went to Will Ferrell and I asked him like, did you have a hard time kind of finding? He said, Will was like, nope.
Yeah,
Like,
I
just-
don't think Sandler had a hard time.
Yeah, they just kind of walked right. I mean, it probably is just like any workplace culture, a better fit for certain people.
Colin Quinn, though, told me that Will was an actual crazy person. Like, he would dress in character all week.
Right.
But not a character for the show. He would just be in a white jumpsuit and say, "Hi, my name's Bertram. I'm from the Seven Seas. How are you?"
I couldn't do
He'd wear
that.
driving gloves and he would shake the host's hand. He would never come out of that character.
Wow.
And then on the show, he would just do Night at the Roxbury.
Whatever. Well, yeah. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I've tried,
I couldn't.
I've stayed in accents for movies and stuff like that, and even then, I'm like, what a pretentious asshole I'm being right now.
It's too important that the host know me. 'Cause I'm
Right,
such an egomaniac.
right.
Like John Malkovich. Hi, I'm Jay Mohr.
me, Jay.
Yeah,
Heard of
Jay.
me? Yeah.
Hey, it's Jay. Just check it in. See if you want me to write something for you.
Tell me about the big breakdown where you ran in your dress shoes all the way down the island of Manhattan.
I was in a sketch, Chris Farley, motivational speaker sketch. The only reason I was in the sketch was because David Spade was at a model party when we were rehearsing it on Friday night and didn't want to leave the
a
party.
model party.
Oh, he only was in showbiz to have sex with models.
That's
Unabashedly.
why most guys get in the business. Is to
Yeah,
have
but
sex
he
with
took
models.
him to the point where, then take me out of the sketch because I'm not
Right.
leaving. I'm at a,
Yeah.
Ford modeling agency party.
And I'm gonna fuck one of these
And
bitches.
it's, yeah,
you
there's
look
some
hungry,
there's some
desperate.
there's some low hanging fruits and high hanging fruit. I'm gonna get some. So then I got put into this sketch. It was a Scared Straight sketch where they yell at the kids. You
Yeah.
know those PBS shows.
Yeah.
and it was
They're
Farley
still
and
doing
Martin
that
Lawrence.
sketch on the show too.
Yeah,
They just
now
did
it's
a couple with Lindsay Lohan a couple.
Oh
weeks
yeah,
ago.
with the kid
yeah, with the kid.
And this
Kenan-
is real.
Keenan. Yeah, Keenan.
Keenan.
Yeah, Keenan.
Not Kel.
No,
Poor Kel.
Kel was set
Kel is
on
the-
fire and pushed into the ocean. Like
He is the DJ Jazzy Jeff of that relationship.
he really is.
We did a motivational speaker sketch, and I remember when I was having a panic attack that whole day, and I had Klonopin with me. I had been diagnosed and treated, but I was still taking one in the morning, one at night. But for some reason, I was just having a day where my body was telling me, "You're not okay. Like you're dying."
Yeah.
And then I went to put on there's that little pocket on your jeans. This
The
is the
little change,
that's the
yeah.
Klonopin pocket right there.
Yeah.
And that's the Xanax pocket, and you'll find out as you just start checking people's ask them, do you keep pills in there? It's like a 20%. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's my
When I put my
Zoloft.
wardrobe pants on to play a wayward teen in the Scared Straight sketch, there were no pockets,
Oh,
and I started going batshit crazy.
like what am I gonna do?
Well, how am I going to carry Klonopin on me if I don't have pockets?
Yeah.
What kind of an asshole gives you pants with no pocket? Now it's like you're on LSD. Why do the pants have no pockets? What kind of pants have no pants have no pockets? You're going up to strangers in the hallway. My pants have no pockets. There's no place to put my little dots. So I carried them in my hand, but because I was having a panic attack, I was sweating. So I wanted to keep my fingers. You know what? I will say this. Maybe the chapter in my life of writing, the chapter I'm most proud of, might be that chapter because of the explaining, trying to keep they're tiny, tiny pills.
Right.
Trying to keep 4 of them in my hand, but I don't want them to dissolve because of my sweaty palms. So having to keep my hand cracked
Right.
to allow air through, but palming it like a magician with my thumb.
So that they wouldn't fall away.
But then kind of rotating away so my thumb didn't make them dissolve. And realizing I have lines and I don't know where they are. Like, what's a cue card? Like, what's happening?
Right.
But then Farley walks in and it's like the sun coming out on a rainy day.
Yeah.
He fixed everything. And that was always, he's really like the protagonist of the entire book is he just keeps making love and light. Like he
Yeah.
never stops. The most beautiful man I ever met in my life.
Oh.
And he would always do something different between dress rehearsal and air to make you so freaked out laughing. He would either change his wig or he would look at you it was your close up and the camera was over his shoulder, he knew what cameras were on.
Yeah.
Like you think he was just a big fat guy yelling, but he knew he wasn't on camera, and you go, how about, and you cross his eyes this far from your face, and then Lauren, in between dress and air, would go, and Jay, can you please stop laughing during the sketch? And you're like, yeah, I'll fucking give it a shot. But he's tasseling my hair and making my wig crooked, and we're live. So his thing, a dress rehearsal, he comes out in his prison grays, you know?
Yeah.
But for the live show, when he came out, his shirt was drenched, like around his pits and down the front. And that was like the big surprise. And then he just comes through the door like, howdy, young fella. You guys are rolling doobies. And he's drenched. He is drenched like he just poured water. And you just start laughing.
How can you not?
And maybe laughter is the best medicine, because I had no idea that I was no longer not breathing or having a heart attack because the sun came out.
Yeah. Oh. And then did you end up still sprinting back down the island? Was that the day that you sprinted?
That was a different night. That was pre-medication. I was having a panic attack, and I was in wardrobe, and I told Mike Shoemaker, I have to go home. I wasn't in any sketches.
Yeah.
And he goes, you can't go home. It looks bad. I go, you know what else looks bad? Me throwing myself out a fucking window onto the street below. And he goes, you just can't go home. And I think he was in mid-sentence, and I got in the elevators, and they took too long, so I went down the stairs 8 floors to the street, and from 55th and 6th, I sprinted in like pointy Capizio shoes. Like there's something where I was an extra, and I was like a Goomba, like a Guido guy.
Yeah.
And I had those the Puerto Rican fence climbers, we used to call them, those weird little shiny shoes. And I sprinted down Fifth Avenue, and I remember like sliding. I remember I'd run and slide like on ice.
Yeah,
run and
like
slide,
leather
run and
soles.
slide. Got home, called my mom, who's a nurse, and said, I'm dying. She goes, sounds like you're having a panic attack. And I go, well, I have a lot of Valium that I maybe sometimes take recreationally. And she goes, take a lot now. I said, okay. And then a half hour, 40 minutes went by, and I felt groovy.
Right.
But then I also had the euphoria of not dying.
Right.
So then I went back to the show, and you would have thought I was running for office. I'm like, how are you? Good to see you. Good job out there. I like what I'm seeing. Fred Wolf, you're a tall son of a gun. You know that, buddy? Man, you're our talent. Where's Tim Hurley, that former AD piece of shit? Where are you, son of a bitch? Get over here. Like I'm noogieing guys and giving them headlocks.
Oh, I love
No, I'm so happy.
God. Well,
Tough road leading me to my idea of heaven. People go, not people at, church, like at St. Monica's, they'll go, when you have these discussions in our CIA class, like, what is heaven? What is it? And my answer was always just more of this.
Yeah.
Like, this is so great. Sitting
You're in
here.
such a different place. It's such a different place. And it feels, was there a moment for you? Was there an evolution for you, or was there a moment?
It was my wife.
It was your wife.
Meeting the right person and syncing up and going, like Lennon meeting McCartney.
Yeah?
And going, oh, we could really kick out the jams now.
Wow.
Hey, sweetheart, as Bugs Bunny used to say, hey, sweetheart, how about me and you making beautiful music together?
Or, like your wife saying, so if I had a dick,
Yeah.
would you let me fuck you with it?
All night long. Fucking hollow that shit out and make a corncob pipe out of my intestines.
When did you stop drinking?
The day after the Suicide Kings rap party, I drank 2 bottles of champagne, lots of beer, and scotch, and I grew up in an AA home, so I knew all the lingo.
Right.
And I was driving to the beach with a buddy of mine, and I said, I can't go because I think I'm going to shit my pants. And he said, why don't you do what I do, dude? Just have like 1 or 2 drinks and stop. And I said, if I have 1 or 2, then I'm powerless over. And when the word powerless came out, I went, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
done. But it was almost like a stamp on an assembly line. It wasn't like white knuckling life.
Yeah.
It was just, you're done.
Yeah, you just knew it at that moment. Like, okay,
I was done.
understand.
And it took about a week to figure out how to sleep without passing out.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as like, oh my God, I want booze, I never really went through that. I went through that with NyQuil.
Really?
I went out on NyQuil trying to get my sleep schedule on a film, switching from days to nights, nights back to days.
Yeah. So you would just take a little bit just to get.
No, I would drink a bottle of NyQuil, and then during the
bottle?
day I would drink a bottle because I knew I'd be home in about 9, 10, or 11 hours.
Yeah.
So why not get a head start? And that felt groovy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I had to go to AA to get off of NyQuil.
Really?
Yeah. And then when I got my shit straightened out, I don't really go. But the rooms are always there. That's what's great about AA. It's pretty cool.
And it helped you.
A lot. Well, I mean, I was absolutely powerless, and I had to hand my life over to something
Yeah,
else.
right.
I had to surrender.
You had to surrender.
Because I was fucked.
Yeah.
I used to wake up and pray, "Dear God, please don't let me drive to CVS or Long's or Duane Reade and buy NyQuil today. I am begging you, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, don't..." And just make a left turn as I'm praying.
Right. Into the
Yeah.
into the
And when I'd be
parking
on
lot.
location in Calgary, there's a smallish town,
Yeah.
and I had to go to 3 different pharmacies because they would be on to me.
Yeah. Oh, wait, also Canada, they don't fuck around. I mean, they're serious about like.
And I remember one night I went to a pharmacy. It was like an hour from my apartment that I was staying in. The kid behind the counter was like this super fake cowboy. Goes, "Ma, you sure buy a lot of NyQuil." And I go, "Do you know what the fuck I'm doing here?" He goes, "Movie." I go, "Wrong, asshole. Do you know it's against the law to give foster children medicine? Do you have any idea that you can't give a kid an aspirin because it's against the fucking law if he has a headache to give him medicine? But you know what I do? I go and I get this shit so they can sleep when they're sick. Because the law prohibits anyone from helping people that are fucking ill. So before you're going to fucking ask me..." Like, I went nuts on this guy.
I love it. Also, it's such a complex
And made up on the spot.
like on the spot, just like extraordinary fabulism.
I think the alarm's going off. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
the baby's like boo. We're gonna wrap
The
it up.
baby's the light.
The baby is the baby. We're getting the light.
I'm getting the light.
We're tapping out. Wink at the baby. Okay. Well, there's what. Well, we have to do self-inflicted wounds, but there was one last.
Oh, I like
thing
self.
wanted to ask.
Yeah, I like your
We're gonna
part.
do
I
that.
like this part.
But before we do it, there was something I wanted to ask you.
Well, we come back
was
to it.
Well, we'll come back. Yeah, okay. So usually self-inflicted wounds is like the last thing we do, but I can't think of what it was.
Mix it up.
was
Change
gonna
it
be-
up.
Let's do self-inflicted wounds now. Then, do you have a good one? Do you need to think about it for a second?
Ask me specifically, because it's like that wheel on The Price is Right with all the different numbers on it.
Right.
It could
Well,
land
I could
anywhere in any
suggest-
different scenario.
I mean, it in the past has always it has
My
tended,
behavior has been a huge self-inflicting
Do you
wound.
have that one experience behaviorally, other than you almost shitting your pants on the way to the beach, where you were like, "That was me at my very worst," or that was the moment where I was like, "Holy shit, maybe I have a problem," other than making up a family full of drug-addicted foster children in Calgary, Alberta.
I like that you knew the province. That was tight. I know you got a lot of Canadian listeners. So what's up, Canada?
What's up, Toronto?
Get stoned to try to type Canada. It's pretty interesting.
Try to type Canada.
Yeah,
Is it hard to
it's
do?
like typing banana. You just don't know where to fucking end it.
Doesn't even make it's not a word when you look at it.
Canada.
Canada.
I would think Corey would probably have a better answer than that. My biggest self-inflicting wound. I would probably. Wow, you know what? I might be one of those rare guests. I probably every guest goes, "Oh my God, there's so many."
Yeah, but no, some guys don't. Some guys really have to scrape.
But I know from listening to other people's podcasts, I'll hear people talk about me like, "Yeah, you know what? That guy's a fucking dick," and I'm
Really?
like, "What did I do?"
Really,
So
I
would-
remember. I knew you when you were reckless, Jay, and I know you now.
I never meant to hurt anyone.
Well, that's why I called you reckless, Jay.
Yeah, but
You
I
were
mean,
kinda
Neil Brennan
blind back
reminded
then.
me of the time I went to a club and I tased somebody. Jason Steinberg, I tased twice.
What?
And I'm like, well, I just thought it was funny. And then I got in an argument with him on the podcast going, I wouldn't do it twice. That's crazy. Like once is okay.
Right.
I would say my most reckless behavior was, I mean, when you're drinking 2-3 bottles of NyQuil a day, that's
Yeah.
the biggest self-inflicting wound you could possibly do because everything stops working other than the will to score more NyQuil.
Score more
and the
NyQuil.
humiliation of the fact that you're not even doing like coke.
Yeah,
You're not
nothing
even doing a real
particularly edgy.
drug.
Yeah.
You're doing shit that there's commercials for with like a butterfly landing on someone's nose. And you realize, wow, I woke up with a beard. How long was I out? That was probably my biggest self-inflicting wound because that affects your libido. You just pee green out of your butt. There's
Really?
no erection like it for 2 years, just
Oh,
erectionless
wow.
and diarrhea full. and not being able to stop, and then being belligerent, like you guys got to shoot me out and like making up reasons that I have to leave.
Yeah, you
the
and you were
set.
working. You were on set, and would you?
I'm like, well, I got to be off camera by 1 because in my mind, when I'm off camera, that's when I can start doing it. Because I
Right.
can be high on someone else's, and believe me, you get fucking high. Because
Wow.
people go, don't you just fall asleep? Well, yeah, any pussy can take NyQuil and sleep. It takes a real man to push through and enjoy the benefits when you go through the looking glass. So I would say that time in my life was pretty horrible, and I was also miserably with someone else,
You were still
and I
married?
was an infidel, which is probably my biggest. I would rather you stab my mother than cheat on me, and
Yeah.
vice versa. Because if you stab my mother, I'll go, my mother must have she must have said something. But cheating is like the all-time end-all game ender. Like fucking, you are out. Like
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was I was just disgusting.
Yeah, and
So-
and also this job creates a space for that life. I mean, if you're on movie sets all the time,
There's also a line between looking and being on the prowl to like actually bothering people.
Right.
And when you're inebriated, that line of like, I think she's game. I think she's DTF, as they say in Jersey
yeah,
Shore.
DTF, yeah.
No, she's not at all. And you've
not making eye
and you've
contact.
slapped her ass twice. And she's married to a producer, and you are now. I'm making all this up, honestly,
yeah.
just a hypothetical.
But I enjoyed it. If it was, I was totally
No,
enjoying it.
I would tell you if I had a specific thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty bad self-inflicting wound. Is drinking 2 bottles of NyQuil a day.
Yeah,
I remember
that's
getting
bad.
my next door neighbor did wardrobe for like Madonna and Tina Turner and Cher.
Yeah.
Straight guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh my God, I totally forgot Tina Turner's at the at Anaheim. Do you guys want to go?" And I'm like, yeah, like fuck yeah, like 'cause
Yeah.
I love spur of the moment shit. I don't
Yeah.
want to plan a month out because I won't go.
Yeah.
But if you go, ding dong, here's 2 tickets. If you guys want to drive now, and I remember being 4 songs late because I had to stop on the way to buy NyQuil. Like I can't go to a Tina Turner concert without drinking NyQuil. What if she does fucking shit from Thunderdome? What if she needs another hero? Way home with her fake accent. Thank you everybody for showing up. I want to thank my producer Jimmy Jam. Yes, my guitar player. I want to thank you very much. What the fuck accent is that?
Oh, my
and how long
God.
before Fergie does it?
Right? Okay, I remember the last thing I wanted
right.
to talk to you about. It was that you and I were on the same television show. We didn't talk about it that much on your show, that we both were on Ghost Whisperer.
We were both on Ghost Whisperer, and
Yeah.
you don't believe in ghosts.
No, I don't.
I do by default because I think everyone can't be full of shit. Someone
Right.
has to be telling the truth that they saw that shit for real.
Right? You don't
Michael
think it was just-
Gilmore wrote Shot in the Heart, and he doesn't believe in ghosts, but he saw a lot of them. But he thinks his family, Gary Gilmore, his brother, was the
Yeah.
last person put to death by firing squad.
Yeah.
Executioner song is about that. He thinks his family was so evil that when you see ghost inspectors and stuff, it's you externalizing how horrible your lineage is. 'Cause
Wow.
His whole family, everyone died by murder or
It's like
fire.
this kind of genetic memory that
Just,
your
your body just kicks it out.
Wow.
Um,
I don't know. I think it's.
But I had a great ghost thing happen to me when I was at my desk, my Professor Payne desk.
Yes.
Everyone was talking about ghosts.
Uh-huh.
And I remember saying to the people assembled, like Jennifer Love Hewitt was like, "Oh my God, there's so many ghosts and the weirdest things happen. Oh my God, if you take a picture and you see white dots in the picture when it's developed, those are spirits and they're attached to you." I'm like, "Are you fucking high? They're fucking white dots from a camera." But like James Von Prague and all these people, like they buy into it and they're like, "No." And I remember being on Ghost Whisperer and somebody coming in to get a spirit off of JLH. Like no, it's
like,
because
in between takes.
yeah, all like for 2 days because in a photo there was a white dot on her hip. And they're like, there's a ghost attached to you. And I go, that's impossible. And they said, why? And I remember sitting at my desk, Professor Payne's desk. I said, because I walk in the white of the Lord, the white light of the Lord. They can't get to me and it bothers them. They get very frustrated. And they're like, really? I go, because people don't take me as a religious guy, but I am.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, absolutely. I walk in the light of Christ, and they just can't get through, and it bothers them. I wish I could see one because I think it would be cool, but whenever I've tried or gone to haunted places, it's like a negative, like a force field. They can't. And as I'm talking, Aisha, on my son's eyes, the lights behind me explode. And sitting at my desk, the entire crew, Jennifer Love Hewitt, everyone had little pieces of like light bulb, and it was like crew lights. Like it wasn't like a light bulb. It was they're lighting her for her shot. That shit exploded, and around me in a perfect, like you did it with your finger in your garage to make something cool.
Yeah.
Perfect half circle around me of space with no glass.
Wow.
And then from about my arm, if you just did a half circle with my arm out, Just the place littered with glass.
Wow.
Now the scientist and the non-believer would go, well, a light popped, and it
And there
popped
was a
in a certain,
radius
it popped in a
angle
certain
and-
direction.
yeah.
But people everywhere were just covered, and it did happen right when that conversation happened.
That's pretty
And I
excellent.
wanted to tip my hat to the man upstairs for showing everybody what's up.
Right.
The power of walking in the light of the Lord.
And also for ushering the New England Patriots to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Not to victory.
And when I say religious, I worship the devil. And when I say white light, it's all, just because you say religious doesn't mean you're going to God and Jesus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't say which Lord when you said the white light of the Lord.
No,
You
the
didn't say
dark Lord, the Lord of the Sith.
Lord.
What do you want me to say? The Lord of, you know what they call me in my, when I'm in my little, my raiding party, I'm the Lord of the Horde.
The Lord of the Horde.
I worship a blood elf female.
A blood elf female?
Yeah, that's what I worship. I've traded it all in.
I was going to say, is that like a fucking World of Warcraft?
That's what I was. That's what I used to be for a long time in World of Warcraft. But then I
Really?
got so fucking sick of hearing that Britney Spears song, I stopped.
Oh, wow.
Toxic baby.
Was that-
Everybody likes to get to the part, like to get that guy to dance, like
Oh, yeah, that's
Undead
right.
Male and all
Yeah.
that shit. And I was like, I can't
do RPGs.
And then I'm like, why? It's not funny anymore.
Even my nerdery does not reach to that level.
I'm being at work and fucking run this shit.
But I'm going to leave here after this and play Gears of War.
You are?
Yeah, it's my plan for the afternoon. It's raining.
I got Missile Command on my iPad.
Nice.
And I am so happy
Nice.
to go OG.
He keeps it simple.
I keep it simple.
You do. I want you to know how happy I am that you're doing so well.
Thanks.
And
You're on the talk.
I do like my day job. I have a day job that I really
You
enjoy.
fucking better.
I like it. I do.
I'll
I
be
really
the guy
do.
on it.
I mean,
I'll
anytime you
replace
want to come
any
down, what
one
are you
of you
gonna promote?
start
I'll promote
cackling.
some shit. You have 1,000 fucking movies, Jay. You never don't work.
Then, not now. Like
Now.
today, nothing.
This particular day we're sitting together.
Tomorrow,
no, 'cause-
nothing.
but
Tomorrow's
You
Saturday.
got shit. You just
Sunday's
did
the
some movie
Lord,
in
the
Vegas.
Dark
You blew
Lords.
me off like 8 Fridays in a row to go to Vegas
I know,
and fuck
I
around.
crazy
It's all right.
stuff. And I told you why. If I had pneumonia, I was coming here.
Yes, and you sent me 2 emails to make sure that I knew that the first email meant it. With like a second email, I will be there. It was it was menacing and angry. I'm gonna fucking be there.
Yeah.
You
And it was way too long of an email, and you wrote back, done.
done because I believe in you. And I've always thought you were a hilarious guy, and you and I have always been cool. We've known each other
Yeah.
at least 15 years,
Yeah.
and
We've always been like warm water.
Yeah,
We've
we
always
have.
gotten along super easy.
Easy. That's always been easy.
Like Sunday morning.
Who was that Pesci singing that song just now?
Unfortunately, I was actually trying to sing it.
Easy like Sunday morning.
My favorite.
Oh my god.
My favorite. Where you were talking about doing Pesci on Scarborough, and you said that the key was that he was always out of breath. He was always about to run out of breath.
You told me that.
I
didn't know it. You told me on more stories.
Yeah. You're like always.
And by the way, if you're listening to this, Aisha Tyler, Girl on Guy, you have to subscribe. We have to dominate the top 10 on
Jay
iTunes.
and I need you to. If you are listening to Jay for
I
the
want it
first
just to
time,
be
go
about you.
subscribe to his show.
Sure,
Then-
whatever.
yes,
you don't have
and
to.
It's great.
But we need the top 10 to be good guys.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
Corolla's a good guy.
Corolla is a great guy. Corolla,
I like Marin's a lot.
Corolla's always been good to me. He was one of my first guests on my show. I was one of the first guests on his podcast when he started.
He's ridiculously talented.
He's a great guy.
Frustratingly so.
Hardworking, too.
Like if you say, I want you to talk for 40 minutes about headphones, he'll go,
He's
let me
done.
tell you about headphones. And then 40 minutes later, you're going, could you more, it's funny.
Exactly.
Ridiculously talented.
And he's also gotten to the place where he can talk with his eyes open. Took him a long time to do that.
Him and Kimmel.
Oh, yeah. Both of them. I used to do Love Line with him, and I'd be like, I'm over here, Adam.
Yeah, he does this thing where his eyes are closed. I'm not so sure. And he pull out a weird Panama Lewis reference. Something bizarre that
But
no one
everybody
gets.
should go subscribe to your show because it's hilarious.
You got it. And I don't know if your listeners know, but when we need to say this, I guess, but when you subscribe, that's the only way iTunes registers you listening to us and ranks us accordingly.
Just downloading an episode doesn't do it. You got to
and it's free, so
why not?
I do a lot of fucking favors for you, Henry, don't I?
you're terrific, and I'm glad this
It's
is
the
successful
greatest.
for you.
I'm
Who's
so
the
happy.
sponsor today?
I don't know. I don't lay the sponsors in until later. So,
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a
And
sponsor every week, though.
congratulations on the Giants winning the World Series. I know
Oh,
you got
it
a
was
lot.
very
I know you
exciting.
got a lot in the bank, so I'm not sure when this will air. I'm guessing they're winning it all this year.
Please God. They made it. It made it pretty far last season.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They got great pitching. They re-signed Matt Cain to a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
and they have bats finally.
Yeah.
not guys that can hit.
Guys
They
that
actually have brought in bats
bought some bats
from the zoo.
from the zoo, and also stop using the old recycled ones they'd gotten from the Goodwill. Got some brand new ones, new wood.
Brand new wood.
New
That's
wood.
really the key to life out there, everybody. Get yourself brand new wood.
New wood, all the time.
And concentrate when you masturbate on the road to the point where your head hurts, as I said earlier. Your face hurts.
But also concentrate on doing it when your wife is not lying next to you in the bed.
Yeah, or marry somebody that you can actually wake up and go, I don't think I'm done.